You deserve. The final commercial was from a credit repair company. Let us negotiate your debts down to nothing so you can live the life you deserve. Notice the common phrase? You deserve. Seriously, what do these people really deserve? Your credit sucks, you don't pay your bills on time, and you deserve a better life? Grandma rear-ends your car and suddenly you deserve a large cash award from some rich insurance company? You buy a house you can't afford and now you deserve a lower rate? How does a deserving is suddenly come so easy with no particular effort, like an event raining from the heavens? We're being methodically brainwashed to believe that we deserve everything without obedience to process or accountability. You deserve what your actions earned or haven't earned. Being responsible is one thing, being accountable is another. When you're accountable to your choices, you alter your behavior in the future and take the driver's seat of your life. Chapter Summary: FastLane Distinctions. Hitchhikers assign control over their financial plans to others, which effectively introduces probabilities to victimhood. The law of victims: you can't be a victim if you don't relinquish power to someone capable of making you a victim. Responsibility owns your choices. Taking responsibility is the first step to taking the driver's seat of your life. Accountability is the final. Next exit, Slowlane, a mediocrity ahead. In the previous chapter, we highlighted that a sidewalker has no financial plan and is only concerned with the pleasures of today, often governed by instant gratification. While the sidewalk is a chronic lifestyle that mortgages the future for a pleasurable today, the slow lane is the antithesis, a sacrifice of today in the hopes of a brighter and freer tomorrow. As a slow lane traveler, you're deluged with a series of doctrines that plead discipline to the trade-off. Get a job and waste 5 days a week toiling at the office. Bag a lunch and stop drinking $10 coffee. Faithfully entrust 10% of your paycheck to the stock market and your 401k. Quit dreaming about that sports car in the window because you can't buy it. Delay gratification until you're 65 years old. Save. Save because compound interest is powerful. $10,000 invested today will be worth 10 gazillion in 50 years. Surprisingly, the slow lane is the first convenient exit off the sidewalk and evolves with maturity and increased adult responsibilities. Most college graduates begin their post-schooling life on the sidewalk. I certainly did. Graduation pardoned a license to buy stuff that yielded instant pleasure, trips to Cancun, a flashy car with a booming stereo, nightly drinking binges, a massive CD collection. Life was all about now, regardless of future consequences. Sidewalkers, and people in general, instinctively regard a better future. I'll be making more money, I'll hit the lottery, after my father dies I'll inherit thousands. Future crutches often justify pleasurable nows and, behind the scenes, lifestyle servitude swells. However, with increased responsibilities, perhaps a growing family, mounting debt loads, and future expectations not matching reality, the sidewalker comes to terms with the uncertainty of the sidewalk and does the seemingly responsible lane change. He off-ramps and graduates to the slow lane roadmap, a strategy touted and praised by credible sources. While the sidewalk is typified by undisciplined behavior, the slow lane's financial plan introduces responsibility and accountability into the wealth formula. That can't be bad, right? Unfortunately, the slow lane is like bad directions given at a gas station, except these directions aren't given by strangers, but by people you trust: teachers, television and radio personalities, financial advisors, and yes, even our parents. These ostensible sources reinforce the strategy's fictitious strength when its efficacy is a sucker's bet. The slow lane is a lifetime wager that a sacrificial today will yield a wealthier tomorrow. The promise of wealth. The price? Your lift. The slow lane is rarely challenged. It's a lie so deceiving that when the ruse is uncovered, decades of life have passed. Meanwhile, millions more are being newly indoctrinated to the deception. If you buy the lie, you sell off today in hopes of a glorious tomorrow. And when does this glorious tomorrow happen? When can you splurge, spend your millions, and enjoy life? When? The driving force behind wealth under Get Rich Slow is time employed at the job and time invested in the markets. Your glorious tomorrow might arrive after 40 years, when you're living your last presidential administration and on your second hip replacement. Your glorious tomorrow might arrive when you're 73 years old and soaked in urine and strapped to a stinking bed because you've lost your mind to Alzheimer's. Seriously, when does this Slowlane plan of retiring rich actually become real so you can enjoy your millions? As a teenager, Joe reads several personal finance books about getting rich. They tell him to save, get a career, clip coupons, and live below your means after graduating with a law degree. Joe follows this advice. While it is difficult, Joe follows this plan for wealth diligently. He works 60 hours weekly at his law firm, often neglecting his family and children. His weekdays are consumed at the office, while his weekends are spent home recharging from the rigors of the workweek. After 12 years in law, Joe decides his profession is no longer enjoyable. Yet, he decides to endure, as he is just one promotion away from making partner and a guaranteed six-figure salary. As Joe's life progresses, he never loses sight of his goal, retire by age 55 because, after all, financial guru David says, the smart people finish rich. Joe saves, works overtime, invests in mutual funds, and participates in his firm's 401k. He continues to endure his job for the sake of the plan. No one said it'd be easy. That one day it was coming, the day when he'd retire with millions. He justifies that 5 days of misery and a hated job was worth the sacrifice for the future. Then, one hot summer day while mowing the lawn, Joe has a heart attack and dies at age 51, 4 years before his destination. You can either live rich young or live rich old while risking death along the way. The choice is yours and it shouldn't be a contest. Rich at 25 years old beats the snot out of rich at 65 years old. Ask a youngster how to get rich young. Will coupons, mutual funds, and 401 Burmese chots be the answer? Comedic, I know. Wealth is best lived young and enjoyed while you have health, vibrancy, energy, and yes, maybe even some hair. Wealth is best lived in the prime of your life, not in its twilight after 40 years of 50-hour workweeks have pulverized your dreams into surrender. Deep in our soul we know this, yet we continue to faithfully pledge obedience to a financial roadmap that promises wealth after 4 or 5 decades. And the bigger concern you should have is, does it even work? The global recession has exposed the slow lane for the fraud it is. With no job, the plan fails. When the stock market loses 50% of your savings, the plan fails. When a housing crisis erases 40% of your illiquid net worth in 1 year, the plan fails. The plan is a failure because the plan is based on time and factors you can't control. Unfortunately, millions of people have faithfully invested decades into the plan only to discover the ugly truth: the slow lane is risky and insufferably impotent. A strategy that requires your life and your dreams to be paid as penance is a sucker's bet. The slow lane arrogantly assumes that you will live forever and, of course, be gainfully employed forever. Unfortunately, wheelchairs don't fit in the trunks of Lamborghinis. Slowlane mindposties and missives. Over time, the slowlaner collects and espouses a series of mindposts reinforced by credible sources. Mom and Dad say go to college, graduate, and get a job. Best-selling author David says, stop drinking expensive lattes. Susie says open a Roth IRA and contribute 10% of your paycheck. Ramsey says snowball that debt. All these missives formulate the slowlaner's mindposts, a journey to wealth that consumes a lifetime. Debt perception: debt is evil. It must be religiously attacked, even if that means working overtime for life. Time perception: my time is abundant and I will gladly trade my time for more dollars. The more hours I can work, the more I can pay off my debt and save money for retirement at 65. Education perception: education is important because it helps me earn a bigger salary. Money perception: money is scarce and every dime and dollar must be accounted for, budgeted, and perilously saved. If I want to retire by 65 with millions, I have to ensure I don't squander my hard-earned money. Primary income source: my job is my sole source of income. Primary wealth accelerator: compound interest is powerful because $10 invested today will be worth $300,000 in 50 years. Oh yes, and don't forget about mutual funds, home appreciation, and my employer's 401k. Wealth perception: work, save, and invest. Work, save, and invest. Repeat for 40 years until retirement age. 65 years old, or if I'm lucky and the markets return 12% yearly, maybe 55. Wealth equation: wealth equals job plus market investments. Destination: a comfortable retirement in my twilight years. Responsibility and control: it's my responsibility to provide for my family, although for that plan to work I have to rely on others, including my employer, my financial advisor, the government, and a good economy. Life perception: settle for less. Give up on big dreams. Save, live frugal, don't take unnecessary risks, and one day I will retire with millions. So how do you know you're being sold the Slowlane? The following lists the primary munitions indigenous to the Slowlane roadmap. Slowlane weapons. Go to school. Get good grades. Graduate. Pay yourself first. Overtime. Corporate ladder. Save X% of your paycheck. Contribute to your 401k. Invest in mutual funds. Buy and hold. Paychecks, pensions, benefits. Diversify. Raise your insurance deductibles. The stock market. Say no to expensive lattes. Be frugal. Get out of debt.
Kalip coupon.
Cancel your credit cards. Dollar cost averaging. Get an advanced degree. Pay off your house early. Your home is an asset. Individual retirement accounts, IRAs. Live below your means. Understand compound interest.